In this week's episode, Michael makes strange hand gestures. I don't know what I'm doing, so I write some stuff, and then erase it.
Just when you thought we were done, another trigonometric expression appeared. So we've slowly been building up and working our way through the different parts of trig. So I wanted to give you a more concrete example with actual angles instead of theta, x, tan, and all of those variables, so that we could use the 90-degree rule and the 180-degree rule in trig. So we're going to expand this expression, but don't worry, chill out. We're going to do this super mellow, quick and easy, so that you get it first time, and when you get it in your test, you'll be able to absolutely smash it. So let's look at this. You've got a fraction, and you've got a series of angles related to the trig identities, or trig functions. So looking at this, I can already see that the first thing that I'd want to do is draw the cast diagram. I always do that before I do anything related to trig. So simple cast diagram, you know that all angles are positive in the first quadrant. You know in the second quadrant, sine is positive. You know in the third quadrant, tan is positive, and you know in the fourth quadrant, cos is positive, and hence why you get the cast diagram. This is important to note when you start dealing with these angles, because you know if you've got cos 150, which would probably put it somewhere there, at that angle, it has to be negative. So if I simplify this expression and I see that cos is positive, something doesn't quite add up. So, cast diagram has been drawn. Now, let's evaluate this expression. So make sure, while you're watching this, draw it out on your piece of paper that you've got it written down for yourself, so that you're aware of the things that we work through. So, let's start off with cos of 150 degrees. That can also be rewritten. You know we're dealing with quadrant 2 as cos of 180 degrees minus 30 degrees. You know that tan of 225, which now puts it in quadrant 3, where it should be positive, would be tan of 180 degrees plus 45. And sine of 270, you know that would sit, let's draw this out, directly on the in between the third and the fourth quadrant, and sine of 270 is a special angle, so you know that that value is going to be minus 1. If you're unsure, check it in your textbook, work through it. This should give you minus 1. So we substitute in minus 1 divided by sine of minus 60 degrees. What's that? Well, it smells like a special angle. So, sine of minus 60, you should also work it out. That should give you, minus 60 is going to put you in the fourth quadrant, which would be negative root 3 over 2. Right? And cos of 480. So cos of 480, remember you're dealing with a unit circle, which is fundamental trig, that any angle, 480, 500, 3000, is just taking a single angle and rotating it on the Cartesian plane several times. So if you get something that's bigger than 360 degrees, just minus 360 and find the equivalent. So how can I rewrite 480 as the same angle again? Well, cos of 480 minus 360 is going to give you 120. So we can rewrite that as cos of 120 degrees. Okay? Now, cos of 180 minus 30 degrees is going to be equal to negative cos 30 degrees, which is also a special angle. Tan of 180, 45. So it's going to be essentially tan of 45 degrees, because tan is positive, you've got minus 1, you've got root, oh, it's horrible. You've then got negative root 3 over 2, cos of 120 degrees, which actually we can now, cos of 120 degrees is going to put you in the second quadrant, where cos is negative. And you could rewrite that with the 180 degree rule, which is 180 degrees minus 60. So now that we've taken all the steps to simplify this out, and we've got special angles, which is 30 degrees, 45, you've got 180 minus 60, these are all special angle equivalents. So minus cos 30 degrees is going to give you minus root 3 over 2 for that term. Tan of 45 is 1, got minus 1, and now you've got minus root 3 over 2. Cos of 60 is minus a half. So you know that these terms, the minus root 3 over 2 and minus root 3 over 2 are going to cancel. You've got a negative and a negative, so that is cancelling each other. So you've got 1 divided by a half, which is going to give you an answer of 2. And that is the result of your simple derivation of seeing which angles are in which area of the cast diagram, finding the equivalent 180 degree rule, simplifying it so that you do get special angles, and then finding the equivalent on the unit circle. These are simple steps that you've taken, and although I know it can be overbearing and overarching when you get this big equation, but don't stress about it. Take it bit by bit by bit, and you'll be able to break this down and simplify and smash these answers so quickly. I struggled with it in the beginning, you shouldn't. So get cracking on more problems, solve it, just repetition, practice, practice, practice. And you can do all of these things, and honestly, I think trig should be the easiest section in all of your mathematics. But people just give it this big idea. So get cracking on the next problem. You've got this, don't stress.